Let's go over example number 1 in this video. Consider the line y equals 4 over 3x. They're asking what is the slope of the line perpendicular to this line, and part B is asking for slope of the line that is parallel to this line. So we're looking for two slopes. So what is the original slope? This is already solved in y equals solved for y equals mx plus b, right? So we can tell the coefficient of x, or the number in front of x, is 4/3, as you can see right here. This is your slope. So I'm going to go ahead and say the original slope is 4/3. I'll write that down. Remember, parallel lines have the same slope. So I'll say the parallel slope, and that's the symbol for parallel, is equal to 4/3. It's exactly the same. Perpendicular slope, though, and remember this is a symbol for perpendicular, upside down T, that's perpendicular. Perpendicular slope is, it needs to be opposite reciprocal. Opposite in sign, like positive to negative, negative to positive. And reciprocal means you need to flip that fraction, reciprocal. Okay? So the original slope was positive, so reciprocal slope or the perpendicular slope should be negative. And the fraction was 4/3, so you flip that and make it 3/4. We found them. Example 1 simply asking for slope, so that's all we do for these types of problems. So let's look at a couple more, B, C, and D. This one is also written in y equals mx plus b. It's solved for y, so then we just have to read the slope in front of x, or the coefficient of x. So can you see that it is really -1 in front of x? We're multiplying -1 times x. So slope is -1. So I'll say that m is equal to -1. That is the slope of the original line. Then automatically perpendicular slope must be -1 because they are the same thing. Okay? Let's do the opposite reciprocal. Perpendicular slope will be opposite in sign. So notice this was a negative number. So opposite will be positive. And I mean, if you have -1, you can think of it as -1/1, right? You can make any number into a fraction by putting over 1. So if you make it the reciprocal, you flip 1/1, which is still 1/1. So reciprocal slope will be 1, okay? Now remember, they did say, and if it's positive, you don't have to put the plus in front of it. So the opposite reciprocal slope is going to be 1. And right here, they did mention that for two non-vertical perpendicular lines, their slopes multiply to be -1. Is that true? If you multiply -1 times +1, we do get -1. So that's good. Let's keep going. Example 1, A and B were already solved for slope-intercept form, but C and D, and that's how I like to ask questions on the exam, they're not exactly solved yet, so we're going to have to solve for the slope-intercept form. So I have 3x plus 6y equals -2. I'm going to first move this 3x to the other side, okay? I only want y on the left side. Then I will have 6y, right, equals, the 3x was positive here. It was a positive term, but really moving, I'm subtracting 3x from both sides to cancel out that 3x on the left, right? So if I move it, it's going to turn into a -3x, and I bring down that -2. I need to divide everything by 6 now. Divide this by 6, divide this by 6, and divide this by 6, okay? If I clean this up a little bit, that will be y equals, now take a look at this fraction for me. Focus on this fraction for me. We need to simplify this. We need to reduce this, okay? That's -3/6. So we're going to have -1/2 x, okay? And then, I mean, not that it matters, but we can simplify this y-intercept too as -1/3. Here, only the slopes matter because we needed to get the slope from that guy. So slope of the original line is, as you can see, -1/2. Alrighty. So that's not the answer, but I'm going to use this to find the slope of the perpendicular line and slope of the parallel line. So parallel should be the same. Parallel slope is exactly the same as the original slope. So that's it. Now let me do the perpendicular slope over here. Perpendicular, I'm doing upside down t. Should be opposite in sign. Notice this was a negative number, so the perpendicular sign should be, slope should be positive. And if you flip 1 over 2, what's that going to be? That's going to be 2 over 1. So the perpendicular slope is just positive 2. Okay? And for positive number, I don't need to put the positive sign in front of it. But some of the problems, you're going to have to solve for y first to identify the slope. Okay? And that's how I like to ask. That's the type of questions that I want to ask on your exam, the first exam, because I want to make sure that you know how to solve for y. Okay? Or let's look at D. This will be the last example on this video. I'm going to solve this for y. So first thing I will do is I will move this 8x to the other side, right after the equal sign, right there. I will still have the negative 4y here. And on the other side, the positive 8x moved to the other side. So the sign changes to negative 8x. And remember this 5, the 5, random 5 over there, that was a positive 5. So I need to put plus 5. All right, I'm going to divide everything by negative 4 now. That by negative 4, this by negative 4, and this by negative 4. And let's simplify. That will be y equals, right? And focus on the slope. If you do negative 8 divided by negative 4, you get positive 2. Positive 2x. And I don't think there's not much we can do about this. Positive divided by negative, the sign will be negative, and it's y-intercept of just 5 over 4. It's not going to simplify, so we're going to just leave it there. But that's not what we care about, right? We only really care about the slope of that line, which is 2. Okay, if the slope of the original line is 2, line that is parallel to this will have the same slope of 2. Notice I always do the parallel first. All right, the perpendicular this time. Perpendicular slope should be opposite in sign. So not positive, but negative. And you see, 2 can be made into a fraction by writing it as a 2 over 1. So the reciprocal, if we flip that, the reciprocal should be 1/2. So the perpendicular slope is negative 1/2. So we focused on finding slope. In example 3, we're going to actually find, example 2, we're going to actually find some equations or maybe do more slope practice. But that's it for example number 1.